Larry Kudlow says this is the best path to prosperity. We all know what that path is. Of course, it's capitalism. No system has created more prosperity than capitalism, no matter what the crazy socialists say. You can't show me one socialist, communist country where it actually worked out. It never happened. You can't find one because it will never happen. By design, it eats itself. I keep saying time and time again, sooner or later you run out of other people's money and then you crash. Same things is happening in Venezuela, same thing that happened in Cuba, Soviet Russia. I mean, the list goes on and on. It never survives. But we're going to play the clip and hear what Larry Kudlow has to say about all this. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. There you'll find a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, let's get right to the clip. Here we go.
All right, folks, free market capitalism is worth fighting for, and that is the subject of the riff. So, free market capitalism is the best path to prosperity.
Oh, I'm glad that he pointed out. He said free market capitalism, not crony capitalism, not corporatism where they get government handouts and subsidies. I'm talking about free market where the people decide what they will pay for a product or a service. If it's too much, they won't pay for it. They'll find a competitor. And if the price is right and they provide good service, the customer will purchase it. I mean, the customer is right. The consumer is right when it comes to these products. That's what a real free market is, where consumers decide, not where government decide things.
For many years, I hosted a TV show where that was always the opening line. Of course, it reflected my view of how best individuals and nations could prosper. And I have served 2 presidents who fortunately agree with this point of view. Let free people think for themselves. Use their God-given talents to come up with earth-shattering ideas that can change the course of the economy. We've seen it happen several times in our lifetime.
Right.
Here's just one small thing. Take NVIDIA and Microsoft, 2 phenomenal companies. They are now each individually larger by market cap than any other national stock market in the world except Japan. And Apple's market value by itself is about equal to China. How about that? Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, one of the Bibles of the free market capitalist movement. On the 250th anniversary of America's founding, it's important to note that many of our founding fathers communicated directly with Adam Smith, and they were heavily influenced by his ideas. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not a bad place to start. And our freedom comes from our creator, not government.
Yep.
Another good place to start. And it's also a good reminder that Adam Smith's book, The Theory of Moral Sentiment, which preceded Wealth of Nations, was, if I may oversimplify, nonetheless, about playing by the rules and abiding by the laws of a civilized nation. And I'm not going to draw on lots and lots of numbers right now, but I'm going to say that democratic capitalism always produces more than democratic socialism.
That's it.
Certainly communism, where the godless state ran everything, was an abject Soviet failure. I know it's fashionable these days in some of these left-wing blue states and cities where Mondamianism is kicking up in New York and LA, Chicago, and Seattle. But it's not going to work.
Nope.
It's been tried before, and it won't work. Price controls, rent freeze, Soviet-style grocery stores, free everything, high confiscatory tax burdens. It won't work. Incentives matter. Let's not forget that.
It's already rearing its head in places like Chicago, where you got progressive socialist Mayor Brandon Johnson, where he drove out the businesses out of Chicago And so now the people got to foot the bill. So everyone's taxes went up 100%, 120, 130 something percent because he drove out the businesses. This is what you get with socialism. Businesses can't survive that. They can't thrive in that. So they're going to pick up and they're going to leave. Socialism never works.
My friends at the Committee to Unleash Prosperity periodically run economic comparisons of the success of red states and the failure of blue states. Take New York and New Jersey, where over the last 10 or so years, their left-wing statist policies have seen nearly 3 million people abandon those states, and where cumulatively they have lost about $700 billion of income.
Wow.
And unfortunately, that number's rising.
Wow.
But here comes Donald Trump.
Wow. That's a lot of money. They drove businesses out because they couldn't survive the socialism, the over-regulation, the high taxes. Of course, they're going to pick up and leave where they can make more profit. And the thing is, they think profit is bad. Socialists think profit is bad. But with profit, you can hire more people. You can grow as a company. So everyone win. But no, they don't want that. They don't want that. They think profit is bad.
Riffing at the Kennedy Center today about his supply-side tax cuts and deregulation and drill, baby, drill, and reciprocal trade. He didn't exactly say it, but what he was talking about was, free market capitalism is the best path to prosperity. This on a day when the Atlanta Federal Reserve marked up its third quarter GDP to 4.2% annually, including a business boom and a lower trade deficit. Mr. Trump is not ideologically inclined, but as a former businessman, he knows what makes the economy tick. Mm-hmm. As the Wall Street Journal's James Freeman put it so nicely in his column, let Americans produce more goods, let the government produce less money. That'll get us to virtually unlimited growth and affordability.
I love that.
Mr. Trump is a common sense capitalist, and he may well be raising $20 trillion of new investment money pouring into America, bolstering our currency, reducing our inflation, and balancing our trade. America right now is, in fact, the hottest place in the world right now. Mm-hmm. No matter how hard they try, Democrats are not going to sabotage Mr. Trump's version of free market capitalism and a peace through strength foreign policy. You know what? All this is worth fighting for. And that's the riff.
That's the riff. Absolutely. It is worth fighting for. Because imagine if the United States was actually a socialist country. People think they got it bad now. Oh my God. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time. Peace.